what makes the best exercise in the moment for you. Okay. So number one is it aligns with you reaching the goal. Number two is it gives external feedback to the body. The third one is it gives internal feedback to the mindset. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining me and welcome to the Strength Connection podcast. Hallelujah. It is so good to be back on this very special solo episode. It feels like it's been quite a while since I've jumped in and spoken with you. It hasn't been that long, but some things got thrown into the mix and had to make some changes as far as recording because I got the nasty ass flu bug on my way back from a summit in Texas that put me down for quite a bit. This was one of those sicknesses I could not do anything except lay down on the couch and just pray for recovery as fast as possible. So glad that I am back on the mend, getting back into the groove. But from that, had to reschedule and change a couple of podcast recordings that I had set up. So hopefully be able to get those done very soon with some awesome guests that I've got lined up for the Strength Connection. And I'll be excited to share that with you. So good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. So getting back, I've posted this a bit on social media, just gradually getting back into the groove after a bug like this. Oftentimes I think when we get sick like this, you think so many things through your mind of, am I run down? Like, how did this happen? I went through all of those things, but the reality is caught a bug from someone, a couple other people that I was with, think got the same type of thing. So oftentimes you just can't control these things. When it comes, it comes. I haven't been sick like that in over a decade. I think it was 12 years ago, the last time anything more than like a 24-hour bug popped up. So getting back in, one thing I am going to share more because I think it is interesting is how I'm getting back into strength training, getting just back into the groove of all the things that I'm working on. I mean, I didn't do anything. It was no journaling, no podcasting, no writing, no training, nothing. It was one of those like sit there with your high fever and just wait for either getting out of it or death. One of those things are going to come out of it. So, but anyway, I am feeling like 95% back, and some of the things that I'm doing, I do want to share because I think it's something that could help some people. But the number one thing, and I mentioned this in my group that I'm doing, is being kind to myself. And I don't mean in a sense of lighter weights or light duration or just easing myself back into the activities that I was doing, but actually in my mindset of celebrating even small wins of getting back into the groove, not overloading a to-do list right away. And if I don't get through everything on that list, not being self-critical, not putting myself down for not getting to everything again, which is in the past something that was very easily a default of going to on that mindset. I've done a lot of work over years of being kinder and celebrating those small wins. And that's something I'm going to be working on. So, but a couple of things I wanted to bring into this episode. The first one is my time in Texas at the Metasummit. I'm going to share just a couple of things on this one because truthfully, wrote down some amazing notes, had a lot of good perspective and some insights from the speakers at the Metasummit in Texas. But after being sick and just getting back into the groove, it is not fresh in my mind. I don't have it completely ready in my head. So over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be diving back into the notes that I had, the insights that I got. And but for this episode, I wanted to share something that really impacted me over listening to these speakers. So just for some context, I went to the Metasummit. It was the first ever hosted by the company Metaplexus. It's a company founded by Adam Rodriguez, who's actually going to be a guest on the podcast coming up soon. And it was hosted by my good friends, Brian Grasso and Carrie Campbell, who work with this company as consultants. So it was very much centered around the topics of business entrepreneurship, mindset, success. And if you've been to a summit like that, oftentimes it's a lot of big, grandiose energy. It's a lot of tactics and strategies. It's a lot of opportunities to buy products from the different speakers that come in, who are telling you all the things that you're missing from your business or your mindset. These are the things that you need to do and give you that blueprint list down. This was very much almost the the anti-summit of that. All the conversations and all the speakers were centered around building a relationship with yourself, about focusing on developing a strong mindset. But what does that actually mean? And the way that the speakers, I thought, did an unbelievable job of it, which in many ways makes this feels like one of the best I've ever been to, is they told stories. They shared wisdom and experience. They did it from their own personal experiences and told stories about their shortfalls, their struggles, their triumphs, their re-struggles again, their re-triumphs again. It was a very authentic message that they had, and they all had different ways of pursuing it. Some were very high energy that they brought it. Other ones kind of sat back and brought you into their world almost in a very soft-spoken way. But they all told amazing stories, and they all, what you could realize of what they were is they were all aligned with their purpose. It was so authentic with the message that they had. You could tell just from the energy transfer between them and from the audience. And it was a small audience, maybe like 50 people or so, but you could tell that everything that they were saying, they were living out their purpose. And it's something that I've thought of a lot in regards to strength, where we view a lot of the goals that we have on the external surfaces. I want to, change my body composition this way. I want to compete in this event to build my strength up. But if you go into the deeper sense of it, if you really get into the intuitive side of it, what you're doing is you're trying to align with your deepest truth and your highest purpose. That's something that over the last year and a half of working on this podcast, of building my new business, is a journaling practice I've done many, many times over. And it's something that is not always just center of mind. Sometimes you have to work on just reliving it, rewriting it, getting into that mindset of what is my deepest purpose? What am I trying to do? And when you really have that vision and that purpose down, then all the activities, all the tactics, all the strategies that you aim to put into place, they seem to just fall into a line, because you know whether they are aligning with your purpose or not. And all these speakers, that was the biggest thing that I got out of this. I can't tell you the greatest quotes and the greatest strategies right off the bat from it. But one thing that I felt from every one of these speakers is how aligned they are with their own individual purpose. And they shared that out with everybody else so they could find theirs. It was so powerful. I'm going to go into more detail on this, hopefully over the next couple of weeks, but thank you to all the speakers on it. Thank you to Brian and Carrie for putting on a great summit, and I'm excited to share more as the weeks come along. So, all right, the main thing I wanted to talk to you about today on this episode, I got a chance to speak with Dr. Mike T. Nelson on his podcast, the Flex Diet Podcast. It was awesome. He was recently on the Strength Connection. If you didn't check that episode out yet, I would dive into that one. Mike is an awesome guy, so smart, one of the top-notch speakers in the strength and conditioning industry. And getting a chance to chat with him on his podcast, it was cool because we dove right into kettlebell training. It was really one of those topics where we got to go into the weeds of specific training with kettlebells. It's not something that I talk about so in depth all the time. I do it with clients, I do it with some friends and stuff like that, but oftentimes the podcast here, we dive into kind of more ethereal work, a lot of the mindset side of it, as well as the strength and conditioning side. So this was really cool for me to dive into my experience of getting into kettlebell training. And Mike asked me about the best kettlebell exercises, in my opinion. And I knew as soon as I started to actually say some specific exercises, I knew I would get some hate or some pushback on it, because I think it's the military press, the snatch, and the squat. Those are the three best that I think that everybody can really get into. So sure enough, the first pushback I got was one of my clients who was debating me because they thought the swing was the best exercise versus the snatch. So I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into this, because this was something a couple months back, I was posting a lot about half snatching, and somebody asked me why I felt this was the best exercise, not just like the regular kettlebell snatch. And in my own head, if somebody asks a question like that, I don't just have a simple answer. Oftentimes it brings me down a rabbit hole of why do I think something is the best. And this is actually the breakdown of things that I put together in the Go-To Kettlebell Playbook that I put together. And I wanted to share it with you here about what I believe makes the best exercise. Now, again, I think the best exercise could change. It could be depending on a lot of different modalities and a lot of different things that you're working on. But this was the list of things that I thought compiled what makes the best exercise in the moment for you. Okay. So number one is it aligns with you reaching the goal. Okay, I think this is pretty simple. Like if you're looking for body composition or weight loss or high conditioning, obviously it needs to be a conditioning drill. It aligns with helping you reach what is the goal that you're aiming to do. Okay. Number two is it gives external feedback to the body. Okay, so this is where I think there needs to be a technique or a mastery-based drill within it. It's something that is probably multi-joint, something that's going to make you realize whether your technique is on or off, or you're improving, or you need to work on it a little bit. It's giving you more something of an external feedback. So this is something that's probably going to be a little bit more total body. It's going to give you more things that you need to be aware of with your techniques to know whether you're dialed in or you need to work on it. Okay. The third one is it gives internal feedback to the mindset. So this is something where it forces you that you have to focus. You can't just kind of log out in your mind and just hum, drum, go through it. It actually needs to be aligned. So this is something that's challenging probably your strength. It's challenging your technique. There's multi movements, multi joints that are going on at one time. So it's challenging that internal feedback for you to actually really need to focus on the reps that you're doing. Okay. The next one is different volume and different intensity can be done with it. Okay. So you can do, it's good for a 1 rep absolute strength max. It's also good for hypertrophy or conditioning. You can do a lot of different types of training with this similar exercise or a training protocol. Okay. The next one, I think this is really the most subjective one, but it's one that needs to be in there, is you enjoy it. It's actually an enjoyable exercise or protocol that you like to do. It's something that you can see going to, and you really enjoy the feel of it. It makes you feel just better. You like the technique of it. So this is something that oftentimes we don't think of so much. You don't need to enjoy it. Well, if it's going to be the best or it's going to be a go-to for you, absolutely. I think you need to enjoy it regardless of whether you feel great, whether you're feeling, lousy, or whether you're just somewhere in the middle. It needs to be something that you can enjoy. Okay. Next one is it kills multiple birds with one stone. Okay. So this is why I think something like a kettlebell snatch, personally for me, is one of the best. You got a conditioning exercise in there. You also have a strength piece. It's killing more birds, with one stone. It's not just a singular based exercise that's good for one thing. And then the last one is it gives you more than it takes out of you. Okay. So it gives you more where you're improving on technique, you're improving on your strength, you're improving on your conditioning. And also you can go into the rest of the day, the other things that you need to do, and still have energy, still have juice in order to get those things done. Okay. So I think if you have all of these things lined up and it all works for the exercise, then this is a best exercise for you. Again, this is not something that is documented down on specific science. I think this is just, if you have all of these together in one, then this is absolutely a best exercise or best training protocol that's going to work best for you. This was the reason why I put together the Go-To Kettlebell Playbook. Again, it's 8 different training plans that I do in specific days where I'm in a time crunch, where it's a mentally drained day, or wanting to work on developing intuition. I put this together so people can lean on these drills and try them for their own, sake, if they're in the same boat in their training plan, but also how you can develop your own personal go-tos. I think this is something that we don't talk about a lot in the strength and conditioning, is you have a plan and you need to follow the plan down to a T. And if you miss anything within that plan, oftentimes we think that we're failing, or we missed the boat, or we need to double up the next day in order to get back on the good track. And oftentimes that's where so many programs, it's like you need to cater your life around the program. I think for total sustenance and for sustainability over a long period of time, is the program that you're doing for strength needs to align around your life. And life is messy. There's days when you are in a complete time crunch. You don't have all the time in the world that you thought. There's days when you are just mentally or physically drained. It's not that you're taking an out or just copping out. It's that you actually are mentally drained from other things that you're doing. Or you're not in a way where you just want to blindly follow just a structured plan. You want to work on more self-awareness, more intuition. There's different ways to train and to go about these routines. That's why I think having those go-tos in there, the ones are like one-offs where maybe it's not a day where you can fully, have all the time to do the set plan that you had in store. This is where I'm just going to go to a go-to. You're just checking off that box, still getting something in for the day and counting it as a win. That's why I put this together. And the way I put this together is all of the go-tos that I have, all these things that I just mentioned, they align with me. It aligns with the goal, gives external and internal feedback. It's different volume and intensity can be done. I enjoy it. It's killing many birds with one stone. And it also gives more than it takes out, which specifically for me right now with the things that I want to accomplish outside of strength training, that is an absolute must. It's something I learned over the last year and a half of doing intuitive training and building this new business. So anyway, that's what I got there. So if you are interested in the Go-To Kettlebell Playbook, if this seems like it really resonates with you, I'd love to give you a copy of that. Just email me at mike@breakthroughsecrets.net. Just shoot me a message. I'll send you over a copy to it. I'm not charging for this. It's just something that I want to give out as a gift. So hopefully you can lean on this, maybe take some of these drills for yourself or learn to develop your own go-tos along the way. Okay. So again, thank you so much to Dr. Mike T. Nelson for having me on the Flex Diet podcast. If you haven't listened to that episode, go check it out wherever you're listening to your podcast. It was such a blast to dive deep into the kettlebell world in a conversation. Again, thank you so much to the speakers at the Metasummit. I'm excited to share more of the insights that I got from Martha, Brian, Carrie, Adam, Marlon, Jesse, everybody who spoke at this time. It was an absolute blast. So again, so great to talk to be able to do this episode again. So good to be back, feeling great. Thank you so much for those that reached out during this time. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys on the next one. All right, peace. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found some great value here. And if you like this episode, please drop a comment and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It does more to build the show than you can imagine. And do not forget to check out and join the Strength Connection Facebook group. In this group, I share the biggest takeaways and lessons from these amazing conversations, as well as training and strength tips for pursuing mastery and fulfillment in life. This group is filled with individuals looking to take full control over their strength, and it's the perfect space to explore new ideas and to share your journey. And you'll also get exclusive access to the Strength Connection Mastery Seminars. It's a deep dive into the physical, mental, and spiritual training that you can begin using immediately. So do not wait, go now. Seriously, go. All right, much love to you. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.